everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Debolina. In today's video, we'll be focusing on a very useful and practical topic, which is the transformation of declarative sentences into imperative sentences. If you have been following my previous videos, then you already know that I have given a brief explanation of all kinds of sentences, that is declarative, interrogative, imperative, optative, and exclamatory. And I have also shown how to convert declarative sentences into interrogative sentences in detail. So today we are taking it a step further, learning how to change a statement which is a declarative sentence into a command, request, or suggestion, which is what an imperative sentence does. Understanding this transformation is very important if you want to improve your writing, give clear instructions, or sound more natural and confident in English. In this video, I'll explain the rules in a simple and clear way with plenty of hard and tricky examples so you can practice and master them easily. And yes, for all my viewers who are more comfortable with Hindi, I have uploaded the Hindi version of this same video. You can find the link in the description box below. Don't forget to check it out. So grab your pen and notebook and let's get started with today's lesson on how to transform declarative sentences into imperative ones. At first, let's start with rule 1, which is the removal of the subject you. Now, most of the time when we give advice, instructions, or commands, we are directly talking to someone, usually you, even if we don't say it loud. For example, when I say you should wash your hands before eating, I'm clearly giving advice to you, right? But in English grammar, when we convert this kind of declarative sentences into an imperative sentence, we follow a simple rule. We remove the subject you because in imperative sentences, you is always understood or implied. Let's see the example. You should wash your hands before eating. Its imperative form is wash your hands before eating. See how you is removed in the imperative sentence. We don't say you wash your hands because it sounds odd in this context. We just begin directly with the verb wash your hands because it's clear who is being spoken to. Let me give you one more example. You should close the window before it gets too windy. Whose imperative form is close the window before it gets too windy. Again, we are giving an instruction to you, but in imperative form, we don't need to write you. It's already understood by the listener or the reader. So, when changing such sentences, find the subject you, drop it completely, start the sentence with the main action verb. It's a small change, but it makes your sentence much more natural and direct. Now, the rule 2 is using the base form of the verb. Whenever forming an imperative sentence, it must begin with base form of the verb. That means the verb should appear in its original form without using words like should, must, ought to, have to, etc. These helping verbs are used in declarative sentences to show obligation or advice, but when we convert the sentences into imperative ones, we remove those helping verbs and start directly with the main verb in its base form. Let me show you an example to make this super clear. You must wear your seat belt, and its imperative form is wear your seat belt. Here, must is removed and we begin directly with the verb wear. Another one, you should read this book carefully, whose imperative is read this book carefully. Again, should is removed and we start directly with the verb read. So, what you need to remember is when converted to imperative form, drop the helping verb like should, must, ought to, then use the base verb like read, wear, write, go, etc. to begin the sentence. This makes your command or instruction clear, direct, and grammatically correct. Why does this happen? Because imperative sentences are all about giving orders, instructions, advice, or request directly. And in English, the natural way to do that is by starting with the pair that is the base form of the verb. If you say you should go to the doctor, it sounds like an advice, but when you say go to the doctor, it becomes clear instruction. Next, the rule 3 is converting suggestions or advice to command format. This rule is especially helpful when you want to turn suggestions or advice into direct commands or instructions. Often in declarative sentences, we use words like should, must, have to, need to, ought to. These are called modal verbs and they used to give advise, suggestions, or indicate necessity. But when we change these sentences into imperative form, we do something simple but powerful. We remove the modal verb and start directly with the action verb. Let me show you some examples so you can see how it works exactly. You should listen carefully. Imperative is listen carefully. What did we do here? We removed should and simply used the base form of the verb listen. You should drink plenty of water every day. Drink plenty of water every day. Here again, should is dropped and the sentence becomes a clear, direct instruction, simple and powerful. So, what's the logic behind this? The imperative sentence are meant to command, instruct, or guide someone directly. Those helping verbs like should or must. Instead, we go straight to the main verb in its original form to make the sentence stronger and impactful. For example, you must obey your elders becomes obey your elders. You ought to take rest becomes take rest. If you ever confused whether a sentence is giving advice or a suggestion, just look for those modal verbs like should, must, need to, etc. When converting to imperative, just cut them out and go straight to the verb. Now we are going to look at rule 4, which is about collective suggestions. Rule 4 is the use of let's or letters for collective suggestions. Sometimes declarative sentences don't just tell us something. They suggest an action for a group of people, especially when it includes we should. In such cases, the sentence is not a direct command, but more like a friendly suggestion that includes speaker and others. So when we convert it into imperative form, we use let's, which is the short form of letters. Let's understand this with examples. We should go for a walk whose imperative is let's go for a walk. Here the sentence suggests an idea for the whole group. B. Instead of keeping we should, we drop it and replace it with let's to make it sound like a collective suggestion. Next is we should study in the evening, and its imperative is let's study in the evening. Again, the idea is shared with the group and we turn it into a friendlier suggestion using let's. So, what exactly we're doing here? We are replacing we should with let's. This is especially used when we are making a suggestion that includes ourselves and others, a group activity or a plan that involves everyone. Well, for example, you can say we should start our homework becomes let's start our homework. We should watch a movie becomes let's watch a movie. Isn't that simple? Also, using let's sounds more natural in conversations and helps you speak more frequently and confidently the English language. If you ever find a sentence that starts with we should and it feels like a plan or group activity, just replace that part with let's and you will have your imperative sentence ready. Okay. Now it's time to go ahead with the next rule, which deals with the negative instructions of warning. That is the rule 5, which is the use of do not or don't for negative imperatives. So, learn how to change positive declarative sentence into imperative ones. But what happens when the suggestion is when the sentence is negative? That is, when someone is told not to do something. In those cases, we use the words do not, informal, or don't in informal or conversational at the beginning of the imperative sentence. Okay, these are called negative imperatives because they tell someone not to do a certain action. Okay, so let's understand with examples. You should not talk loudly in the library, and this imperative form is don't talk loudly in the library. Yet the original sentence is giving advice, telling you what not to do. But simply the helping verb should not and replace it with don't at the start of the sentence, followed by the phrase verb talk. Next is you should not waste your time on social media becomes don't waste your time on social media. Again, the sentence is advising you to avoid doing something. We make the imperative sentence by dropping should not and using don't to give a direct command. So, what exactly is the pattern? It's simple. You should not plus verb becomes don't plus verb. You can also use do not instead of don't when you want to sound more formal or serious. You can take more examples like you should not eat junk food becomes don't eat junk food. You should not arrive late to class becomes do not arrive late to class. These are all Negative imperative that gives clear instructions or warnings. If you ever find a sentence that includes you should not and it tells someone to avoid an action, that's your clue. Just replace you should not with don't and your imperative sentences. Absolutely ready. Okay, next is time to explore the next rule and also the last rule, which shows how to convert declarative sentences into imperative ones by dropping helping verbs like should, must, can, will, and focusing on only the main action verb. Let's understand this clearly with complete clarity. That is the rule 6, which is the dropping of the helping verbs like should, must, can, will. In many dictative sentences, you notice there is a helping verb, words like should, must, can, will. This word suggests advice, permission, obligation, or future actions. But when we want to transform these sentences into imperative form, which gives a direct command or instruction, we drop these helping verbs and focus only on the verb, that is the action word. This makes the sentence more direct and commanding. Let's look at some examples. You can take a seat. Becomes take a seat. Here can is a helping verb. It suggests permission, but in imperative form, we don't need it. We go straight to the action take. So it becomes a polite command. Next is you must finish your homework before dinner. Becomes finish your homework before dinner. In this case, must shows necessity or obligation, but to make sentence a command, we just drop must and keep the main verb finished. Now it becomes a clear and strong instruction. So what's just remember you helping verb plus main verb becomes only the main verb. You remove the helping verb like should, must, can, will, and directly begin with the main action. Now we can look at some example like you should listen to your teacher becomes listen to your teacher. You will complete this assignment today becomes complete this assignment today. So see how we skip the helping verb and simply give a clear command. If you find helping verbs like can, must, will in a sentence and the sentence is giving a suggestion, permission or order, just remove the helping verb and start with the main form of the verb to form an imperative sentence. So we have learned 6 rules to transform declarative sentence to imperative sentence. We'll quickly revise those. The rule number 1 was in removal of you. In imperative sentences, the subject you is implied, so omit it and begin with the verb. Rule number 2, using base verb. Drop helping verbs like should, must, or have to and start with the base form of the verb. Number 3 was change advice to commands. Removal Remove modal verbs and directly use the main verb to make the sentence go direct. Number 4 was use let's for group suggestion. Replace phrases like we should with let's to suggest actions collectively. Next was use don't for negative imperatives. For negative instructions, begin with don't or do not. Clearly express what not to do. Number 6 was drop helping verbs, eliminate helping verbs such as can, must, or will, and focus on the main verb action. Now we'll go through some conversions of declarative sentence to imperative sentence. We'll see many examples from easy, medium to hard. Let's go. Example 1. You should drink more water becomes drink more water. Here the sentence is giving advice using the helping verb should, but in an imperative form, we remove that helping verb and go straight to the action verb drink. So the suggestion becomes a direct instruction drink more water. Next, number 2, you must turn off the lights before leaving becomes turn off the lights before leaving. The word must expresses necessity or obligation, but in imperative sentences, we skip that and simply command the action turn off the lights. No need for must. The tone already sounds firm. Number 3, we should respect our elders becomes let's respect our elders. This sentence is a collective suggestion, not just a command to someone else. So we use let's short for letters to conclude ourselves and form the imperative. This makes it sound both polite and inclusive. Number 4 is you should not use your phone while driving becomes don't use your phone while driving. Now, it's a negative sentence. It tells us not to do something. In imperative form, we begin with don't or do not to give the instruction clearly and directly. Number five is one must always be honest even when it is difficult. Becomes always be honest even when it is difficult. This is general advice. Instead of using one must, we start directly with the action be honest. This makes it sound firm, motivational, and easy to follow. Next is you are expected to submit the assignment by Friday. Submit the assignment by Friday. The original sentence is in passive voice. We remove are expected to and go straight to the action submit. This makes the message direct and actionable. Next, it is important that you stay calm during the emergency. Stay calm during the emergency. Again, we are dealing with a formal expression. The key idea is to stay calm. So we highlight the action verb and skip the extra formality. Next, you are supposed to complete the report by tonight becomes complete the report by tonight. The phrase is supposed to is unnecessary in commands. Just begin with complete and the sentence becomes simple and clear. One must not talk during the examination becomes do not talk during the examination. A rule of instruction like this is better expressed as a negative imperative. So we say do not talk to make the restriction obvious and strong. Number 10, you are advised to keep your phone switched off during the session. And its imperative is keep your phone switched off during the session. Passive structure again, we remove our advice to and begin with keep. This way, the advice becomes an actionable directive. Number 11, all visitors are required to sign at the reception. It becomes sign in at the reception. Sorry, I read it wrong. All visitors are required to sign in at the reception becomes sign in at the reception. This formal rule can be made simple by starting directly with the verb signing, much cleaner and clearer. Number 12, it is necessary for you to remain silent in the library becomes remain silent in the library. It is necessary is a heavy phrase for clarity. We just say remain silent. This gives a polite but firm instruction. Number 13, you should not forget to carry your ID card tomorrow becomes do not forget to carry your ID card tomorrow. Here again, negative suggestion is turned into a do not command. This makes the instruction more direct and easy to remember. Number 14, every student is expected to maintain discipline in the class becomes maintain discipline in the class. Formal passive structure again, but in spoken or written instructions, it's best to go straight to the point. Maintain discipline is clear and strong. Number 15, you are requested to be seated before the chief guest arrives becomes please be seated before the chief guest arrives. Since this is a polite request, we are pleased to maintain the tone, but we remove are requested to make the sentence smooth and natural. Okay, so I've given 15 transformations. I'll give more transformations in the next videos. So that's all for today's video. In this lesson, we learned how to convert declarative sentences to imperative sentences with simple rules and examples. But this is just the beginning. In upcoming videos, we'll explore more sentence transformations and dive deeper into other sentence types and advanced grammar topics as well. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.